Good evening, sir. Myself Ritik Ranjay from 5BBHB. My registration number is 212111731. In this CIA, I will covering the topic house property. Moving forward with the CIA, first of all, let me discuss the format of house property. I've created a format here. First of all, gross annual value, then deduction of municipal value, then adding this both to the comes the net annual value. Then we move forward to less deduction under section 24, in which there are two terms, statutory deduction and interest on loan. Statutory deduction is nothing but 30% of NAV. And after calculating and doing the sum up of all these values, we get income from house property. Then we add recovery of unrealized rent, recovery of areas of rent if mentioned in the question. We have cleared the format of the house property. Now we'll discuss few notes how to calculate house property. First of all, municipal tax. There are three criteria which we need to keep in our mind before calculating municipal tax. Payment should be made during the previous year. If payment outstanding, there is no deduction. Payment should be done by landlord only. This is how we get the value of municipal tax. Before we move forward the calculation of GAV, I would like to mention few points here, few terms here. Actual rent, which will be used as AR in the GAV, municipal value, which will be used as MV, fair rent used as FR, standard rate, which is used as SR. Now moving forward with the calculation of GAV under section 23, there are two ways through which we can calculate GAV, two criterias. If there is mention of landlord, the case of deemed to be let out, or tenant. First of all, let's talk about the landlord, self-occupied. In the case of deemed to be let out, there are 2 points which to be keep in mind. If when standard rent is not applicable, then we will calculate GAV by comparing MV or FV. Whichever's value is highest will become the GAV. When standard rent is applicable, then we will compare MV and FR. Whichever is higher will become X, then X will be compared with SR. Whichever is less becomes the GAV. Now in case of tenant, the let out, when standard rent is not applicable, we will compare MV, FR or AR. Whichever's value is higher will become the GAV. When standard rent is applicable, we will compare MV or FR, whichever's value is higher will become X, then X is compared with SR, whichever value is less will become Y, then Y is compared with AR, whichever is higher will become GAV. If question mentions about unrealized rent or in case of vacancy, then there are few things we need to do. First of all, we'll check the rule number 4. If it is satisfied, when we will repeat the same procedure as the tenant procedure. We'll compare MV with FR, whichever is higher, then XR with SR, whichever is less becomes Y. And here is the change. While comparing Y or AR, we will deduct unrealized rent value with the actual rent value. And then we will compare it with Y. Whichever value is higher will become the GAV. And in the case of vacancy, again we will check the rule number 4. If is satisfied, then we will compare the MV value, municipal value, with the fair rent value. Whichever is higher will become X. X will be compared with standard rent value. Whichever is less becomes Y. Now here is the change here. Y will be deducted with vacancy and AR will be deducted with unrealized rent and vacancy. Then the value is compared again, and whichever's value is highest will become the GAV. Now we have reached till now we know how to calculate gross annual value. Then the municipal value we have already discussed. Then we will get the net annual value. Now moving forward with less deduction, we'll come under deduction 24. Standard deduction is, I already mentioned, is 30% deduction of net annual value. And now interest on loan. Now we will learn about how to calculate interest on loan. Calculation of interest on loan comes with two things: interest paid during the previous year and interest paid for pre-construction period. We'll add on these two, we'll get the total value, and then we will divide this value with 5, and the outcome will become the interest on loan. Then we will deduct statutory deduction and interest on loan, and we will get income from house property. That's it, sir. That's how we will calculate the house property value. And thank you.